Hey gang, Rodan here. As you can see in this game, we've got Reejr playing the Tier 9 Premium German battleship Pommern. Matchmaking? Well, matchmaking's pretty good. It's mixed tier matchmaking, and Reejr is going to be top tier. Got a mix of 9, 8, and even a handful of 7s in the game. I am going to, as quickly as I'm able, go in and address the UI bug that was introduced with update 0.10.5. Those will not stay set for replay, so I have to go in and manually change them. I want you to have the information, so I take the 15-20 seconds or so and get that done. So I don't really know a whole lot about this game other than that Reejr had a pretty good game. If you hear me slurping, it's my coffee. It's fairly early right now, so I am still drinking some coffee. I only mention that so nobody has the image of me sitting here drinking the good stuff first thing in the morning. I'm sure if you've played the game at all, you're familiar with this map. Things generally divide kind of down the middle. That seems to be happening here, assuming the Caracciolo that is just off of Reejr's starboard side, and he heads to this side. A reasonably even split of the team. What I really don't want to see if I'm in one of the games on this map is basically everybody heading to one side. In anything other than a standard battle, if the team YOLOs to one side, everybody lemmings to one side, inevitably you're giving away a cap for free, and that's not something I recommend really in any game. Might have a broadside shot on that Induct. Don't know if the guns are going to get around in time. The Induct is slowing, so maybe. It is a pretty flat broadside. Let's hope they get there in time. Just skirting the edge of the mountain. Yeah, a little bit of damage. Good eye, Reejr. If you're relatively new to the game, what Reejr just did is something that I always recommend in a battleship in particular, but really any ship. Look for those broadside shot opportunities, especially when you've got larger shells, which Pommern can't be said to have really big shells, but they are still battleship shells, if a bit smaller than most. And if you can catch something flat broadside like this North Carolina, you can end up landing some Citadel shots and doing some really devastating damage. Just like that. You can see that was a Citadel shot. And nicely done, Reejr. Now Reejr's got his Pommern set up for secondaries. That means an 11.4 kilometer range on his secondary guns. And you can see that as the red circle around his ship on the minimap that kind of dashes rather than solid line. That's the secondary range all around the ship. Alright, so the good guys have secured Alpha, the bad guys secured Delta. Bad guys do have a little bit of a points lead, and that is of course on the back of the fact that they secured that cap a little bit earlier than Reejr's team was able. Benson and Kitakaza on this side, that's a pretty potent combination. I think Reejr's shots are going to some going in. Nope, they all cleared the island, even though there was a little island indicator there. Nice. That's roughly 9,000 damage on the Reejr. Fletcher, Kitakaza, and now Benson all running for cover behind the island. I hope that Benson makes it through there without needing a torpedo. Wow, that Benson really threaded the needle there. Fletcher, Benson, and Kitakaza. That's a lot of Daka Daka. That's some significant AG spamming. We got a battleship here that is just off of Reejr's starboard side. That looks like he beached himself. That's the correct view of him. And it looks like Reejr might actually go nose into this island himself. Let's hope that the destroyer that threw those torpedoes out doesn't have more on the way. Reejr hastily throws it in reverse. Pommern is not known for being particularly agile. Come on, Reejr. Keep turning. I wondered if Reejr was going to head south. It looks to me like he's just decided he just needs to back up, get behind the island, avoid torpedoes. Actually, it was the Iowa that was pushed up against the rocks there. And I'm sure that Iowa looks like a pretty tasty target for any destroyer on the other side. Probably a really smart move to get out from between any red destroyers and that Iowa that's just kind of sitting there. So, kind of a slow start for the game overall, which I really like. I'm always a little disappointed when one team or the other gains a significant ship advantage really early in the game. I think if you've played any time at all, you're probably well aware that there are a lot of lopsided blowouts, and those are really not all that much fun, whether you're winning or losing. Probably a little more fun to win than lose, but either way, when the games aren't really what you consider good games, it's just not that much fun. Okay, so the destroyers that were all here, Benson, Fletcher, Kitakaza, they're all in the middle of the map now. And you can see that there is a red destroyer in the Alpha Cap. Might have aimed a little bit low, but if those land on target, those are really going to hurt. Reejr looks like he's going to eat at least one torpedo here. He's flooding, but he does manage to avoid the worst of that. And without any destroyer cover here, it might be a good idea to fall back. Now, having said that, these secondaries can be really nasty. It looks like he's going to get a broadside shot on North Carolina. I think he's going to finish the North Carolina here. I don't see any way that the NC survives this. But, but he did. Somebody's going to finish him. Looks like a Maki's got him. Yeah, that hurt. Yeah, the North Carolina shells, they are nasty. And Reejr he's been broadside to the red team quite a bit for quite a while, and Iowa finally moves up the rocks just in time to eat a couple of torpedoes. Why the Iowa decided now was the time to move in when we've got one destroyer out on the flank. Nice shot, Reejr. That was sweet. So we got one destroyer on the flank here and another destroyer that's in the cap, and the Iowa decides now's the time to move out and head into the red team. Yeah, questionable decision at best. Now Fletcher's torpedoes have already been launched, and Reejr can chase down this destroyer, but he's going to be showing broadside to the destroyer, and that's smoke. to do that. Now, what do I mean by chase down the destroyer? If you're relatively new, you may not be aware that hydroacoustic search, which is the consumable that Reejr used there with the Y key along the bottom of this, has a pretty decent range, and now he has lit up that destroyer. And he finishes him off. Nicely done, Reejr. That was really good. And if this other destroyer is not careful, Reejr can do the same thing to him. He's got almost a minute left on this hydro. And it's the Sun Yang that's out there, and he does have his nose pointed in. Somebody's going to finish that destroyer. And Fletcher guns him down. Reejr makes it into the cap circle. That's a little bit more XP. And the good guys managed to take back the alpha cap, but they've lost, well, they've lost their original cap. So the bad guys hold Bravo, Charlie, and Delta. All right, taking a look at the scoreboard. The good guys, well, they're down 4 ships. Bad guys are down 6 ships. Good guys still have 3 destroyers. Bad guys only have 1. It's a pretty big advantage for the good guys. Of course, the Lazo on this team is just about completely gone. Basically, someone could throw out an empty beer can, and if the Lazo runs into it, it's going to sink. And Eisenhower, really tough to Citadel. Almost 5k damage. Like the Pommern, the Gneisenau does have torpedoes, and that's definitely something to be concerned about if you get close. You can see Reejr's secondary is going to work. And I expect we're probably not too far away from the Gunter Lütjen's bonuses kicking in. And Gneisenau is sunk. And Reejr's going to go nose into the island here for an emergency stop. Good guys are now down to 7 ships. Bad guys down to 5. And Reejr sounds like he's kind of stuck on the rocks here. Throws it in reverse. Enemy Lepanto takes out the friendly Caracciolo. Bad guys have now made it a 6 ships to 5 game, and the bad guys with 3 caps continue to expand on their lead. Broadside shot on the Scharnhorst. Well, some chip damage. Landed 5 shells, but did not do much damage. Friendly Udici is, well, he's being chased down. That red destroyer has, I think, got him in his sights. Now, Reejr is angling, I think, reasonably well. He's got a Pommern south of him somewhere. Takes out one of the Scharnhorst guns. And Amagi finishes off the Scharnhorst. It looks like Amagi's probably in trouble here. A lot of torpedoes. And he does go down to a torpedo. That makes it a 5 ships to 4 game. Udici's still got a lot of HP, but if that Moss lights him up, Moss definitely has the advantage as far as guns. And he's got Lepanto up there supporting him. Reejr shifts his focus to the 2 ships south of him. Really no shot there. So what to do? Cross center. Meet him in the middle. You can certainly do that, but if that's the goal, is to meet them over there, I think Boise's going to get sunk here. And this is going to be over really fast. One concern for Reejr, and I would probably pop hydro here, is if the Moss ran south, there might be torpedoes on the way. But this is going to end rather abruptly. So I'm going to say Reejr, really good. Oh, look at that. Let your torpedoes the Boise. I didn't see that coming. I figured the IO would sink it. Okay, so at this point, we know the Moss is here somewhere. That's what's got Reejr detected. So definitely I would pop the hydro right now as soon as I was detected to give as much advance notice of torpedoes as possible. Okay, so Moss is too far away to land torpedoes. Lepanto can certainly manage to get shells. Well, might be out of range, and I think Lepanto is a little too focused on the Udachi. They're trying to keep themselves in the game by sinking that destroyer and buying themselves a little bit of time, but that's not going to work out, I don't think. So I will say, Reejr, good job. 2 kills, 110,500 damage on 47 shell hits, 38 secondaries. Started a fire with those secondaries, helped lock down a cap. All in all, a pretty well played game, sir. Thanks for sending the replay file. Those of you joining me, thank you very much. I really appreciate you spending a little time here. I hope you enjoyed it. I always enjoy watching the Pommern. It's a very fun ship to play, and although the secondaries are not what I would call overpowered, they're still a lot of fun. Anyhow, thanks again, and I'll see you next time.
Torpedos direkt voraus! Torpedos direkt voraus!
Well, I have to comment, that's a heck of a turnaround. This one looked like it was going to the Reds, but Reejr's keeping them in the game here. They've stopped all the enemy points. They've got 29 seconds to turn this around. And what was a pretty placid game throughout has become a real exciting thing here at the end. I think the good guys are going to win this. There's just enough time. It's going to put them ahead. Great job, Reejr.